Hey, everybody, welcome back to Collector's Haven. I'm Mike Pingel, your host. Guess what? I know it's a spooky October, so we're here again. We're here with Ronnie and his amazing horror collection. He also collects horror masks. He collects the Mutant Ninja Turtles. And of course, everything he loved as a child, too. I mean, we all do. I just want to say, all of you out there, if you love the show, please like it, share it, and like the like button, and be a fan. Be a fan because there are great shows coming up. I know that came out really awkwardly, didn't it, Ronnie? That was the first time I've done that in the beginning of the show. So anyway, whatever.
Nothing is more awkward than me, so it's fine.
My big head awkwardly asking people to be fans of me, so that's more awkward. Ronnie, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Not like you're on the Zoom. You're on the Zoom. How did you get started with horror? How did you get started collecting? Basically, how did that happen for you?
Well, when I was really young, I had this terrible phobia of clowns and any horror movies, and my father was constantly honking out Friday the 13th movies and all kinds of like Tourist Trap, all those movies, The Fun House from Tobe Hooper. And I couldn't even make it through the opening credits if they had clowns or anything. It would just scare me to death. And then all of a sudden, when I was around 10, 10 to 12, I started really diving into watching all those movies because I didn't have that fear anymore. I was kind of facing it. And then I started out with the movie Maniacs. Todd McFarlane started making movie Maniacs, and the stores started carrying them. And I was like, wow, I got to get this. So I just started there.
So your dad is the reason why you collect.
Yeah, I mean, he inadvertently he just wanted to watch his movies, and I just so happened to be there, and he just scared me to death.
Inadvertently, he formed you how you are today. I love it. I love it. I love the collector in you. Oh my God, that's great. That's great. How does he react to your collection?
I think everybody reacts the same way. They think I'm out of control most of the time. My girlfriend's grinding her teeth together right now because she believes I'm out of control. But I'm responsible enough with it. I brought in quite a few things. I try to find weird things at the same time too, just conversation pieces and whatnot. And I started going to conventions in the last couple of years. And I think anytime anybody that's in my family comes over and they see my collection, they're kind of blown away because they see pictures and they can't really imagine how deep it all is, because it's all in my living space. It's in my bedroom. So you walk in here and you just see boxes in the front, but it's actually 3 or 4 figures back,
Wow. But when you say out of control, you mean just buying stuff, or you're not emulating what's going on the screen, right? Just buying toys.
Yes, absolutely. And I hear that.
You're running around with a hatchet, and out of control.
No.
Honey's out of control again. Hold your neck.
I have heard that a couple times.
So that's got you in collecting. How long have you been collecting for?
Well, I started the first couple of things that I really picked up were the McFarlane movie Maniacs. I think that was somewhere around 95 to 97. And of course, starting out, I took everything out of the package. And then once I went to get my first house, getting into adulthood and stuff, I sold off the things I had taken out of the box. And when I started out my career as a butcher, of course.
Fascinating. Go ahead.
And I got into that because of Leatherface. Then I started making good money, and I just started buying things and keeping them in the package.
Excellent. So now I know as a kid, I let go a lot of my stuff because my parents were like, you have to grow as an adult. And of course, now I have a huge collection of Charlie's Angels all over the house. So, I mean, they're like, what happened? I'm like, maybe if you didn't make me throw it away. So the stuff that you sold, are you still looking for them, or have you completed buying all of those items back?
A lot of that stuff. I mean, I'm also a person that I impulse buy a lot. I know that once I see something, it might not be available again. So I usually will pick it up. But I mean, going back into the movie Maniacs, I hate to really overpay. I like to shop around for things. My favorite collectible that I have is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 video cassette standee from when it came out in the video stores. And I searched for it for like 5 years just to get it at a good price. And a lot of the toys I had in the beginning that I had sold off hundreds of dollars now. So I just kind of weaned off of them.
Yeah. Don't we all wish we had a going back in time watch or something so we can buy the one things we wanted?
Oh, I know. I Ninja Turtle and every Batman and Batman Returns figure. I mean, I would have never taken any of that stuff out of the package, you know?
Right. But you were a kid. So, you have to, you wanted to play with them.
Yep.
So what was was the Maniacs the very first item you bought? Can we look at some of the stuff you have around you?
Yeah, I have a couple of the movie Maniacs ones that I had back then. I just had rebought package. This Ash here from Army of Darkness and this Freddy Krueger. They were from the first couple series of the movie Maniacs. And they would have been, I had a Leatherface that was like that. That's the only one I don't have now. But these two were probably like the first two collectibles that I had. And then over here, I have, the Escape from LA, Snake Plissken, and both versions of the Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the bloody version and the unbloody version, Edward Scissorhands. So they were like, ones from back then. I mean, this is from Music Land, this Ash versus the Pit Witch Army of Darkness set here. And that's not available anymore, obviously, because Music Land and Sam Goody and all of them have been gone for ages. So.
Oh my goodness. So is that Leatherface? Is that what you were talking about before? That standee?
Yeah. Yeah, this standee here. I mean, this is like my prized thing of my collection. I have it signed by Caroline Williams, who played Stretch, and Bill Moseley, who's by far my favorite horror actor. I have all things Bill Moseley. I've met him at conventions 2 or 3 times, and anything that he's willing to sign for me, I always just have him sign it. As far as the number one thing that I would be seeking, it would be for Bob Elmore, the guy who played Leatherface in Part 2, to sign the Saw. From what Caroline and Bill told me, he always likes to sign across the Saw really big. So I'm waiting for him to come to a convention within a couple hours close. But I mean, I have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 album here that's signed by Caroline Williams and Bill Moseley. And I have the movie script, and that's signed by Bill Moseley and Caroline also. And then there's a Tobe Hooper autograph in there, but I believe she said that was just a print on there because he had already passed at the time of this, and I got this. And I have, this is a light box display. This would have been from the movie theaters when the movie was first coming out. I got that signed by Bill and Caroline also. And then just more Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 posters signed by the two of them. And this one's just signed by Bill here. And I have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 soundtrack on vinyl up there, signed by Bill and Caroline. I mean, it just kind of goes on and on with the stuff from Bill. I mean, I have, things from The Devil's Rejects, signed by Captain Spaulding, Sig Haig, and Bill also.
Nice. So what is Texas Chainsaw Massacre your favorite movie, or what's your favorite horror movie of all times?
Part 2 is definitely my all-time favorite. Part 1 was one of the first movies that I rented from Blockbuster when I was like before teenager years. I would go stay with my aunt. She didn't really know what the rules were with what I was allowed to watch, and I wasn't. And I would just tell her, "Oh yeah, my mom's good with this." And I would bring home anything that looked like it was going to be scary. And I just heard chainsaw in it. And I'm like, well, that sounds scary. And I watched the first one, and it just like blew my mind how like real the terror was. So I thought Part 2 was going to be the same thing, but Part 2 is really just like a silly type parody version of it almost. I mean, it's completely different. And for me, Chop Top made that whole movie. Like it's just insane, you know?
Nice, nice, nice. Let's look. I see you have a Season of the Witch mask behind you too.
Yes. Yes, that is my favorite out of the Halloween franchise. I have a lot of Season of the Witch stuff, including this tattoo that I have on my arm that my beautiful girlfriend Amanda did for me because she's a tattoo artist.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I got like a lot of horror movie tattoos from her. I got like a Belial from Basket Case, and I got a Return of the Living Dead, More Brains, and I got this Necronomicon, and I have a They Live tattoo up here on my shoulder. And this is the spider head from The Thing. And of course, there's my Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 VHS tape. And then there's the Saw's family on the chainsaw from the movie. So it became like my whole horror movie sleeve there. But I mean, I have a lot of Season of the Witch stuff. I have the NECA release of the three kids from it. I really appreciated the throwback to that was in the new Halloween Kills movie.
Oh, so
that was really, yeah, I thought that was awesome. That was really cool.
It's probably the highlight of the whole movie. I have some issues with that movie.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple issues, but I don't know. I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to horror. I mean, I think like the kills were good, and I'm like a gore hound kind of. So
yeah, the kills
are all over.
He was very aggressive. He was very aggressive, especially that scene in the with the old people and all the knives. Yeah. I was like, that's a bit aggressive, Michael. I mean, what's going on? But yeah, we won't go into that. I won't go into the going flashbacks to 1978 and making new characters, whatever. I mean, but that's just me. So do you have Chucky behind you? What else do you have? Let's look at it. I'm so excited.
Well, I have a couple different Chuckies there. I actually, behind this Chucky here is a separate Chucky that is more of the good guy doll looking Chucky there. And this one up here is, of course, the angry version of him, like around the fireplace scene, probably from part 1. And then this was like a Sideshow Collectibles little limited release that they did. I haven't really seen many of them around. I mean, I have a decent amount of Chucky stuff too. I mean, as a kid, that kind of scared me a lot too when that came out. I mean, especially having dolls and stuff that I was already collecting at that point. So
yeah, and he was a nice doll that came to life. That was, it was a little bit of a shock. Coming around and kill everybody. So I see you have some masks behind you too of Jason, and is that Leatherface or who is that next?
Okay, so this is the Pretty Woman Leatherface mask from Trick or Treat Studios. And then that's the Michael Myers from The Curse of Michael Myers. I actually hate that movie, but I thought it was one of the cooler Trick or Treat Studios ones. This is a NECA remake mask of the 2009 movie. It's very, very well made, very good resin. I have it signed by CJ Graham. He was Jason in part 6, and Ted White from part 4, and Tom, I can't remember what his last, Morga. He was Jason in part 5, and Steve Dash was Sackhead Jason in part 2, and then Derek Mears, who was in the remake. I have met Kane Hodder, but I did not get him to sign the mask at Monster Mania. But I do have a couple of different, this is from part 4 from NECA. And this one here is supposed to be like a light kind of Freddy versus Jason one. This is the Roy mask from part 5 from Fake Jason.
Wow, that must be amazing because they with Michael and Jason, they do masks for every single movie. So you have a lot to collect on every single film.
Yeah, I mean, and once we get out of my room, and I'll show you the rest of my mask that I have out in the living room and stuff, I actually have like the original Michael Myers mask, which is the one that I would prefer, because out of the Halloween movies, I really only like part 1 and part 2 a whole lot. I thought the Rob Zombie remake was really well done, and I liked it, but it's not my favorite of the franchises. I'd be more of a Jason and a Leatherface guy,
Absolutely. And is that Beetlejuice behind you too?
Yep. Got a big Beetlejuice up there. I love all Tim Burton movies. I mean, I didn't realize that Tim Burton directed so many of my favorite movies as a kid, but Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Batman Returns and Beetlejuice, I mean, they were just all like my favorites back then, you know?
Absolutely. So as we go through, what just to think about, what is the weirdest horror collectible you have? What was the hardest one to find for you? And what is your favorite one?
Okay, so my favorite one is definitely the Standee, and that was the one that I took the most time to get, but only because I'm cheap. The weirdest
No, it's okay. I understand. Everybody out there understands you don't want to spend millions of dollars because then you have to eat chop ramen for the rest of your life. I understand.
Yeah, and I know that I'm going to be getting so many other things too. So
yep.
Well, let's take a look over here. I mean, I have a large variety of things. I mean, this is definitely one of my favorite things also. This was a limited NECA release of the Hitchhiker and Nubbins set, and I got it signed by the Hitchhiker, Ed Neal. You know, this is really cool for me because it has Nubbins in there, and Leatherface held Nubbins up against him and walked around like he was him in part 2. So that was really cool for me. Something that I waited a long time to get a hold of, and then to meet him was like priceless, you know. I just recently got this Night of the Demons Shout Factory release signed by Linnea Quigley, and last month we went to the PA Horror Con and Hal signed this too, so now that's complete for me, so that was cool. I think one of the harder sets for me to find at the time when I purchased it was this 4 set here from Cult Cinema Collection of the original Dawn of the Dead movie. There's Flyboy and Hatchet Head and Plaid Shirt, and the one Plaid Shirt one that I have is actually signed by the actor from that. I actually am doing the Flyboy costume for Halloween. That's going to be my Halloween costume this year. So
nice.
I kind of went all out. Yeah.
Nice. So I see you have a lot of Funkos up there. What do you think about Funkos? And are you addicted to them, or do you like them? Or
okay, so when the Funkos first came out, I swore them off. I was like, these are ridiculous. I'm never going to get these. And then I just started collecting the ones from horror movies, and I got my first couple signed. I got Doug Bradley to sign my Hellraiser one, and Derek Mears signed by Jason one, and Tony Moran signed by Halloween one. Tony Moran was only the actor that was unmasked as Jason for like 5 seconds. He wasn't even the actor who played him. It was Nick Castle, but I haven't met him yet. After I had those, every time a horror movie one came out, I started getting them, and then it just got way out of control. Like I'm nearing like 500 pops at this point.
yes. They're addicting. Once you start, you can't stop.
Yeah, once you pop, you can't stop, right?
So fantastic. Let's I thought I saw something behind you.
So I have a lot of X-Men stuff from the X-Men cartoon. I also like the 90s X-Men cartoon that came out. So I collected a lot of X-Men and a lot of Marvel Legends that were basically based off of the characters that I liked when I was a kid. I'm not all about it, but I mean, the X-Men are like close to my heart always. And Spiderman, I always liked Spiderman a lot. So that is most of the only collectibles I have from the Marvel Legends line. I do kind of dabble in other things. I mean, I have like Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet, stuff like that, you know, a little bit of Spawn from Mortal Kombat. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan and a big Spawn fan. Not really so much of a DC guy. I'm trying to get back to my roots of horror stuff now. So I was trying to find outlets to sell off most of my other stuff, but it's really hard to let go.
I know. And what is behind
that is Michelangelo in A Creature from the Black Lagoon mask. I ran out of places to put my mask, so Michelangelo has modeled plenty of masks for me.
I was gonna say it kind of looks like Shrek with a mask on, but now I
Yeah, it really does. No, it does kind of have a Shrek look to it. It really does.
So behind you is all your Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
Yeah, this is, and like I said, there's always boxes behind the boxes here. So I have the Batman versus the Ninja Turtles, and I have all of the NECA 1990 movie releases, but I mean, I also have like every action figure that was released from the Nickelodeon line. I have all of the vehicles for that too, and I have the 4-foot play set still in the box. I mean, some of these cartoon ones are like my favorites. I mean, this Baxter Stockman pack is just amazing, and I get a lot of smiles from myself just from looking at this stuff because they really did a good job. It looks just like it did when I was a kid. So I just started getting into these big cartoon versions of these guys, Bebop and Rocksteady and Shredder and Krang. And I have a big like 3,000 piece Technodrome up here from Mega Bloks that I am never going to put together.
That's fantastic. So who's your favorite of those Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Donatello.
Donatello. Nice, yeah. Nice. What did you think about the movies?
What did I think about the movies?
Yeah.
I thought part 1 and part 2 were awesome. And then it kind of started falling off. But as a kid, I was just happy to have any. I went back and watched part 2 that I said was my favorite as an adult. And I was just like, whoa, it's kind of bad. But I think part 1 was really awesome,
That is awesome. That is awesome. So let's see what else when you're going, have you seen, this is the other question was going in my mind, have you seen a uptick of horror collectibles in the last 5 years or last 10 years?
I have. Now are you talking about like people seeking them out or like prices
or production? I mean, I think the production of that stuff
it has. I mean, it's gotten crazy. I'm actually friends with the guy that I usually buy my Trick or Treat Studios mask from, and he told me that he used to collect action figures, and he said, but you know what, I had to stop because he said it's getting out of hand. One year they'll put out a Jason Part 7 figure, the next year they come out with the ultimate version of that. And he's exactly right. Like I see one, I buy it, and then all of a sudden the other one comes out, and you end up having different packaging for the same figure over and over. And it's also become a thing with other collectors out there buying all of the stock out of the stores, so it becomes harder for you to find the things in the store. And I won't shop online. Like I'll only buy in the store because I like that surprise still. Like you're a kid and you see the toy in the store, and so, I mean, I like to sit there and just scream and have a meltdown and look like an idiot in the middle of the store,
I'm sure your girlfriend loves that.
She always does.
Talking about that, hey, Amanda, what's your most scariest piece he has? Which one do you rather have not in the room?
Oh, boy. There's so many. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that just like is like too much or too far. I think I'm just numb. To it all.
So there's nothing you come in the room, you're like, you have to turn that around. That has to go around. All right. That's good. So you said we're going to venture out to the front to see the masks out the front. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll take you right out here. So this is the beginning of the decorating for Halloween, of course.
Okay, so Amanda, that's the one I would want to get away.
Yeah, it is always looking at you.
Wake up for breakfast with that thing in your face.
So I have over here, this is the Michael Myers mask that I was talking about. I think that this is the best one that Trick or Treat Studios did. I can't even take the tags off of stuff. I mean, I'm just like so bad with that. But this is a Fallout video game helmet, the Nuka Cola version. And I have this oversized mask from Mars Attacks that glows in the dark. It's really cool. This is a diorama that I did. It's actually my first action figure diorama that I did. It's kind of a recreation of the scene when Ash Williams is taking the book down and he awakens all of the dead in the cemetery because he says the words wrong. It's one of my favorite parts of any horror movie. It's just really over the top. So I made that because one of my figures had to come out of the package. This is the only reason that happened. His arm actually popped out of the socket from being hot and cold and hot and cold. And that's something that actually happens with the figures a lot, expansion and whatnot. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take it out of the package, but I have to do something good with it. So I did that. This is Tarman from Return of the Living Dead. And this is one of the aliens from They Live. And this was a regular Fallout helmet, but I put a decapitated head inside of it for effect.
Of course. Why would you not?
This was a cool thing that my girlfriend taught me how to do. We are doing like butcher knives because I'm a butcher. So we did a Texas chainsaw one and she taught me how to resin it and stuff. So that was pretty cool. This is the NECA Part 3 mask. Jason. Okay, and then this guy over here is one of my figures. I don't know why when I got this guy, I pictured him being in the military sorts. He just looked like a soldier to me, so I went to the Halloween store and I bought the hat and the bullets and put the helmet on him and stuff. That was a cool Halloween costume that year. And then we're venturing over to the Funhouse mask, which is one of my favorites. So this is the Grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And I just got that one. That was
never looked better.
Yeah, that's like the newest one that I got. This is Victor Crowley from Hatchet. And this is the freak that works in the fun house of Toby Hooper's fun house. This is supposed to be like a vampire zombie. These two are both customs that I'd gotten. The guy who did the makeup for Spider-Man Part 2 with Tobey Maguire did this one. My lips actually fit into the mouth, so I can you could see my teeth in the inside of my mouth. That's like one of my favorite ones. I mean, it's gross, like the hair on it and everything else is just disgusting. Like it just looks so sick. This is another custom one that I got at Monster Mania from a guy. This is from Father's Day Creep Show. And this is Slim from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Wow. That's a little scary.
Yeah, I have a lot of masks that are just like slip-on mask and stuff like that too. I probably have around like 30 masks. I have original Woolworth like witch mask and stuff like that from back when they were just the little rubber band string in the back.
Oh, I love those. So what have you worn all the masks, or what do you usually dress up for Halloween as?
You know what? Everybody else always plans it out so well, and like I just wing it every single time. I have not worn all of them. I've never even I don't even want to wear my Season of the Witch mask or anything because I just don't even want to take the tags off them. I think this last Halloween, I wore this mask here, and I was playing a video game called Zombie Army 4. So I took the helmet off of the other guy and I wore this with the bullets and I had the army coat and it came out really, really good. I can send you some pictures of that and stuff. That came out really cool.
Oh, yeah, we'd love to show those.
Yeah, I have here too. This one I had purchased from a retro toy shop around the way, and the guy sold it to me for like $20. And then I just came home and I just attached some things to it and I turned it into like a prop. So she's pretty cool. She reminds me of like a leper zombie or something.
So, what's the most expensive thing in your collection?
The most expensive thing is probably like now that Standy from Texas 2, they like went through the roof. I mean, like when I say I bargain shopped that for like 5 years, like I found someone that misspelled it on eBay and I got it for $40. They were getting no watchers. No one was looking at this item, and I finally got it after years. I mean, I would come home from work every day and just type in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and just scroll through to see what else I could buy from the movie. And I got that, and I looked it up recently, and without the autographs, it's selling for like $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what I mean. Like getting rid of stuff like that now to buy them back would be impossible. For how cheap I am. But either that or I'd say the Jason mask. The Jason mask is probably valued around $600 or $700 so far.
Well, that's great. Is there something that you're desperately looking for that you want in your collection?
There's a lot of really cool stuff that's like coming out. Honestly, if I could go back and I could get like all the Puppet Master figures when they were cheap, Puppet Master is one of my favorites. I would probably get those, and to get Bob Elmore's autograph would probably be, that would be top notch for me. Like when I met Bill Moseley the first time, I cried my eyes out like a baby, not at the table with him, but I walked away and I cried to myself.
Oh, are you, is there one horror convention you like to go to more than others?
Well, we really like ScareCon. The ScareCon, it's in like Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Usually it's a much smaller crowd there. Like the Monster Manias, we've gone to several times, but it's like you're waiting in line for hours. It's so many people in there, and it just becomes a little much. So I kind of like the ones that are a little bit more tame and just starting out. I like to kind of give them my support too, so they'll keep coming around, you know.
Yeah, and you probably have more time talking to the celebrities too.
Yeah, I mean, we met Linnea Quigley last weekend, was up at the drive-in. That's only, I mean, what is that, 15 miles down the road? And that was the second time that I met her, and I got to talk to her for like 15 minutes, and it was a more intimate setting. I mean, she really took the time to meet everybody, and we had fun sitting there talking to her, you know. It was nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Do you chat about the movies, or what do you usually chat about with them?
With her, I mean, it was pretty natural conversation. You know, I was my normal crazy self talking to her that time, and we were just having a laugh and stuff. We did talk about the movies for a couple minutes, but it was really, you know, just a casual conversation with her. I mean, when I met Tony Todd, who played Candyman, you know, I talked to him about like working with Brandon Lee because of his fatal accident on the set in The Crow and stuff. And I met Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, you know, so we talked about him working in The Crow and stuff like that also. And most of the time I try to dive back into the questions that I would have had as a kid when I talked to him, you know.
Exactly. Plus, I mean, your arms. I mean, everybody wants to talk to you about your arms anyway, with all your tattoos, I'm sure.
A lot of times when I show them and everything, they're like thrilled about it. Yeah, I mean, Adam Green, when I met him the last time that I met him, I had gotten this hatchet tattoo and stuff. He thought that was really cool. But a lot of this stuff, I hadn't really met any of those people at the time. So now when I go, I did talk to Linnea about it, and there just hasn't been so many conventions because of the whole COVID situation, you know? And
yeah,
if I meet somebody, I don't really want to be wearing a mask. I kind of want to be, you know, in pictures with them and stuff. And I don't want to be separated by plexiglass, and
yeah,
it just gets weird. So
I know. We'll all get through it, I'm sure. We'll all get through it. I know it's hard. I was, you know, but it is the world we live in now. We live in.
Yep.
So how much do you think your collection's worth?
I would say, I mean, I know like my pop vinyl collection, there is a Funko app that you can like scan those in.
Oh, really?
That's valued at about like 7,500 for the pops that I have. But
I would say I'm probably in like 20 or 30 grand like now, just because when you go to the conventions and you meet these people, it's like you could come with like a pocket full of money and go through a room and meet these people, and you get charged for getting things signed, and you get charged for meeting them and getting the selfie. So that's where most of the money was absorbed into. But some of that stuff is priceless. I mean, I have Gunnar Hansen's autograph. I actually met him and the guy who played Darth Vader when I was in England. And, you know, stuff like that it's priceless now because they passed away and you can't get it, you know?
Yeah. And you get the opportunity to see your idols that you in the films you love, which is a really nice thing about all the conventions.
Yeah.
To meet them, regardless of sometimes they're not the nicest people in the world. But anyway, you know.
I met a couple. I have met, I think actually I only met one person who was kind of rude.
Yes. I've seen some just sign and move and sign and move and sign and move.
Yeah, they some of them trying to herd you through, you know, like cattle. And it just seems like, wow, like that's not what I wanted to get out of this.
I know. Not with my $80 I just spent to see you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I do want to look at, there was a baby over on the other wall. I do want to look at the baby.
So this actually, when my child was young, I said you could pick one thing out from the Halloween store, and this was the thing that was picked out.
Is that baby eating a brain?
Yes, it is.
And what is that from a movie, or is that just a...
No, it was just at the Halloween store, and I said you could pick out one thing, whatever you want, and just went right over and grabbed this and picked it up and said this. I said, wow, really? So that was in my child's room, and I think maybe 4 or 5 when we got that. So
so
actually,
you have a child that chose that item?
yes. His collection is actually like aliens and predators and stuff. I could show you that collection too if you'd like.
I do, but I want to see that baby behind you though, the one that up on the top. Yeah, that's the one. Oh, the zombie baby, I guess you would call him.
Yeah, this was actually like just something I bought at like the flea market because I thought it was really strange, and then I just found this and I was like, oh, cool, that's kind of weird. I found this there too.
You could design toys. I love that toy.
I used to actually, like when I was a kid, I used to take a lot of the action figure parts that I had from broken toys and I would like melt them together and make really weird toys. And when my child was young, I used to make a bunch of weird toys also. Just loved them, but they were really weird.
So I'm fascinated by this. Now your son is now a collector because of you.
Well, kind of getting out of it now. It was more like,
oh really?
It was more like one of those things that started out and then now becoming a teenager, just really just going their own way and just probably tired of having all these toys just in the package. I mean, even at 6 or 7 wouldn't take a lot of the stuff out of the package because of how I was about taking things out of the package. So most of that stuff is like pristine, you know?
I love that you trained him well when he was young. So, you know, at like 29 or 30, he's going to want to buy all those things back. So hold them and then sell them back to him later for a bigger price.
Well, he's trying to sell them back to me now. And I was just like, look, I already bought these one time. So it's like, I'm not going to, and he wants like full market value for them. And I just refuse. But if it comes down to it, toys won't leave this house. They'll just get put into my collection and I'll hold on to them and give them back. I mean, there's a lot of toys that done that, like Plants versus Zombies figures and stuff.
I like how he thinks. Try to sell it back.
I have no problem holding on to them either. I'm fine with that.
Dad, this is worth this much on eBay. Yeah, but you already paid for it.
That's what we do. Yeah, we do that all the time. We're just sitting there and just checking to see what things are worth, but it doesn't matter because we're not going to sell it anyway.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Ronnie, for showing us your huge, amazing Halloween collection.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
What do you expect to wear for Halloween this year? I know you said you don't really plan things out, but have you planned anything out?
I'm going to be Flyboy from George Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
Perfect. So you have your costume already?
I started doing the blood effects and stuff like that to it last night. The only thing I have left to do is I have to trim up the wig a little bit more, and this is my first outing with a wig, so this is going to be interesting. And then I just need to try to nail the makeup the day that I get home, because I have to go cut meat and get home for 2, and then the party starts at 5. So I have that period of time to figure out how I'm going to do this, but we're winging it.
Amazing. And Amanda, what are you going to be?
Sea siren.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are going to a big Halloween party?
Well, we're going to have a party. This is my first Halloween party that I'm going to have, and we've just been doing all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I have a bunch of lights and strobe lights, and I have like a Beetlejuice thing that shows like pictures of Adam and Barbara like on the ceiling, and we got a big like traditional Wolfman blow up thing for the yard. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on.
Oh my gosh, that sounds exciting. And now you can do it this year. I'm sure we all wanted to do something last year, and this year it's gonna be good. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for showing and sharing your collection. I hope it grows immensely. Where can people find you if they have anything they want to sell you?
Horror Fan Toys and Collectibles on Instagram.
Great. Excellent. Well, thank you everybody out there in Halloween world. Thanks for watching. Please like us, share us, and check us back for our next Collector's Haven. I forgot the name of the show, like always.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye. Happy Halloween.